picks with, like, you know, Senna potentially coming in. I thought we'd see things like the Orianna and the Sivir a bit of higher priority, but not going to be the case. Instead, it's going to be the Taliyah keeping that flex pick open, and I don't think we'll get in this first rotation. I think there's an awful lot of picks you want to go for outside of that, but yeah, I mean, at the moment, it's not looking too dissimilar, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, that was the biggest question looking at the patch. Obviously, there's a lot of speculation in terms of which champions could rise up as other meta priority picks are taken down. Taliyah remaining that flex pick gives her a lot of agency. Orianna is the pick right now that seems to be on paper one of the strongest just because of the chain buffs she has received this entire year.
Yeah, Orianna sliding up people's rankings. Nuke preferring standard control mages in a lot of ways. Feels like the Azirs, the Cassios. Yeah. Orianna slots right in there most likely. And so this will be, I think, a lot of the focal point for the North American fans watching is if Gori can bounce back from a weak performance and try and get some advantages over Nuke, who will probably be leaning more towards the control mages.
Yeah, and as well leaning more towards those team fights, right? You know the BDS likes to try and play for these dragons in the early stages. Having that mage that you can try and use that in those early stages to play for those big team fights is going to be a nice little setup, but looks like he might be going back towards a bit of an aggressive mid lane pick here.
Taliyah jungle confirmed now, and we've got the Ksante. Now,
double flex.
They're not going to flex.
They both play Yone and they both play Ksante.
Okay, so I was aware, but I wasn't sure if they're willing to play the Ksante mid lane. I could see how it would be solid into the Orianna, but I feel like after all the nerfs, not quite as powerful as it once was.
Dude, we don't read patch notes in the NA. We can't read. We can talk about patch notes.
I appreciate that you've decided, like, the way that you get not flamed for being biased in this cast, you're like, I'm just going to trash everyone.
I know who I am, all right? And literally is not it.
Yeah. I'm surprised to see the Maokai coming back into this, because I know a lot of people are talking about kind of more carry-orientated junglers, but with the Taliyah as well having a great way clear in the jungle, you're going to be able to pick up the pace, and I think Maokai just might struggle a little bit against the Taliyah here. So, but it is more Sheo's style of, hey, look, I'm going to try and play to stop and shut down and get vision and play more of a facilitator here rather than being a carry myself.
And I was just going to say that I think right now, Golden Guardians are obviously drafting themselves into a situation where they have champions that are very strong in specific scenarios outside of Taliyah, who I think is universally strong. And on the opposite side, for BDS, it's safe. It's stable, it's going to scale well, which is kind of, again, when they were at their best, scaling is what they did. The question now is, what do they bring out from Crownie? And is this a good thing that they're drafting stable, or is it going to be a problem if something like this Yone pops off?
Yeah, this is Golden Guardians when they were at their best, kind of bread and butter, taking flex picks, doing interesting things in the draft, and being aggressive with them, having very high combined kills per minute, a lot of three-man roams toward mid lane to kind of key off Gori's aggressive champions, and that was what was kind of lacking in the playoffs. So we'll see if that can bounce back here. On the draft, just in terms of the changes, I know there's a lot of conversation about practice time in Korea.
Sure.
Where there was this belief that Golden Guardians was going to get way more. I think they showed up like a day or two before.
There's very little difference,
There's very little difference in scrim time, and this is the first series that we're going to see on this new patch for Worlds, and it might be people taking it a little cautious for their first game going to staples like the Maokai.
Yeah, I'm curious to see, though, what the game plan is here, because I was looking at a lot of AD carry bans. Xayah, Ezreal, Kalista, now all taken off the board. Kalista definitely starting to rise up in priority in that bottom lane, getting that bit aggressive.
Oh, okay.
So we've seen things like Caitlyn and Lucian as well, those other lane bullies starting to come through, but Kaisa is there as kind of the other one that's kind of slipped through from meta's past, but it means you do have opportunities here to try and go for some sort of counter pick if you'd like to.
And this is okay.
Support Amumu for Huhi. One of his kind of pocket picks that he's played a couple times, but not that seen by other teams.
Yeah, it was obviously really popular last Worlds, I believe, with MF, but very briefly at the start of the tournament, fell off very quickly. Once people figured out how to play against it, I think it lost a lot of steam, but still overall an impactful pick. You know how powerful the ultimate can be. And to be honest, I like what Golden Guardians are doing with this composition. You have a lot of champions who want to dive into the backline. Kaisa can just immediately follow, and we have, we have
scale
the most quintessential BDS. And here's the thing, EU fans, I'm gonna tell you right now, if they're gonna win this game, it's taken 30 to 40 minutes.
You can come back in 40 minutes.
You come back in 40 minutes if the game's still not going. It's not looking good. But Golden Guardians on the other side are going to have to try to blow this wide open because Crownie is an excellent late game AD carry. If there's anyone on this team you can rely on to carry a game when we get past 2-3 items, it is Crownie. And I think that that's going to be a tall task if Golden Guardians cannot blow this game open.
Yeah, Labrov on his most played from Summer Split, 8 games of Rakan, grabbing that one, so that's a good look for them. And yeah, this is the most like standard draft you can possibly imagine. Basically, Renekton topside, Maokai jungle, Orianna Sivir, just a Sivir comp with some engage with the Rakan as well. Going up against crazy AD focus. The Kaisa build that's most popular right now is actually more of a lethality build and not the kind of AP Kaisa that you saw before. We'll see where he ends up going because they otherwise are seemingly low on magic damage beyond the Taliyah.
Yeah, I mean, it does feel like, though, you've got what you're kind of looking for Golden Guardians, right? They like to try and play around this mid-jungle. You got a super strong mid-jungle you can play for, especially like Orianna. She doesn't really want to try and go for these skirmishes early in the game. Like, I know even when we look at the builds that we're seeing from Orianna, she tends to go more towards like the Luden's Echo Shadow Flame versus what it would have been the more heavy scaling items that we used to see, and like you'd go for a tier item and then you kind of become strong at like 2.5 to 3 items. She does come online a little bit sooner, but I think if you're looking at Golden Guardians, trying to play through this mid jungle seems to be your way forward in this game.
Definitely. Feels like that's the case. I think the person that people want to keep their eye on is Adam. That was who, worldwide, people who were kind of talking the most about as an individual player in this series. Even in the LCK, Cloud Tomblar was talking about him. Wolf likes him. There's a lot of people who like watching his playstyle. And so we'll have to see if he can get some mind games in on Golden Guardians early on. Level 1s for BDS are also pretty crazy compared to a lot of the things that we see more standard in North America.
Yeah, she's notorious in scrims for trying anything and everything at level 1. One of the most hated players to scrim against because of it. El Yo-Yo complaining on the E4 podcast earlier this year. Finds it miserable. We'll see if River is in the same situation. The Dive obviously very confident, and Kobe specifically was very confident in River's ability to individually outplay. And certainly when you have a carry jungler like Taliyah, if you want to show off, if you want to individually be the difference maker, this is a champion that can let you do it.
But I think it works well against BDS because you know that Sheo wants to go towards Sejuani, Maokai, these kind of things. So I think it's a good call here from Golden Guardians. But again, it's as you say, Sheo wants to try and get in your face, try and get that vision down in your jungle, and just stop you from being able to interact on the map. So I'm curious to see how BDS get that going here against Golden Guardians.
I think it's a really interesting clash of the two jungle styles as well. Just across the board with this team is so many different ways to talk about it, because River is one of the most notorious camp skipping, showing up in your lane level 2 from the most awkward angle possible kind of champions. And Taliyah being a more tempo focused kind of style is something that you do want to get eyes on early, because he'll go for a level 2 flick back on you out of nowhere if any of his lanes have setup, which, you know, a lot of them actually do here.
And it's interesting because I think with players like, you know, Malrang not doing as well this year, EU fans have been missing out on a lot of the level 2 psychotic players. Like we still get it, but we don't have a quintessential psycho jungler that's very successful in LEC right now. So we'll see if BDS can adapt. But again, I think that teams have clearly decided not to match fire with fire. It is fire versus ice as much as is humanly possible. On the top side, level 2 for Adam, just trying to get this wave pushed in. We'll see how this matchup shapes up as we get later and later into the game. Ksante obviously just repeatedly nerfed, but still just remains relevant because of how powerful that kit is.
Yeah, I think in this situation as well, like the ability for them to try and go for team fights as well is going to be a big one. The Ksante going to work out well. I think you've got this great setup with like Huhi going in, getting that ultimate off, and then trying to set up alongside like River with the flick back. So I think when you come into these fights, it's going to be very difficult for BDS if they're not kind of keeping themselves in check. But Sheo's starting to make his way in towards the mid lane here.
Level 3. Gori has to be a little bit careful. The flash in immediately. Orianna gets some decent damage down. Gori needs to get out of there. Gori's dead. He's going to run for his life, but he has to come back. First blood for the LEC for BDS in the mid lane.
I mean, it was only a matter of time, lads. The ADS already off to a great start.
I could have gone longer than 3 minutes. Matter of time. Jesus, I thought that would be, you know, a little bit slower for us. Gori having maybe some of the same struggles we were seeing in playoffs here, just not tracking where Sheo was. He did that full topside clear and just hadn't gone to the bottom side of the map yet, so maybe a little surprised to see that. And I like the aggressiveness. Just insta-flash W, get that guaranteed CC and kill nice and easy.
Yeah, I mean, Gori at least didn't blow anything, so maybe when Sheo comes back, he'll have a better chance. But nice start here for BDS, and that's kind of what we're talking about, right? Sheo is a guy who kind of preemptively gets into a position to try and shut down any sort of aggression you go for. We're talking about the mid-jungle for Golden Guardians, and immediately Nuke off to a good start with that early setup in the Dark Seal now for himself.
And again, when we talk about a scaling team finding early advantages, it's so massive because while normally we look at Golden Guardians to be pretty heavily favored in some of these early skirmishes, just with the raw amount of damage, with the Amumu kind of setup that they have, things get so much easier when you're able to build a sizable gold advantage. Adam on the top side. Should be okay here. Can double dash through, but obviously the Taliyah Unraveled Earth can be incredibly disruptive. Playing safe. Adam giving the respect necessary here not to get caught out there as Gori trading back a little bit more in the mid lane. Obviously, the big thing about Yone is even if he falls behind, you know, you get boots 2, you get 1 item. This champion scales so incredibly well that small disadvantages don't matter as much.
Yeah, and I think for the Golden Guardians team comp, while it does have a lot of individual playmaking, it's really going to turn online at 6 around some of these neutral objective fights where they can try and find these big combinations with their ultimates. The obviously Yone one, the Amumu ultimate. Seeing if you can get some of the gold lead back through there, because if you're just going standard laning and Sheo's finding these kills on and off, you're going to be in a lot of trouble come 15-20 minutes.
Yeah, and I think that's where we're going to start to see it, especially like Rift Herald and that kind of stuff at the 8-minute mark. I feel like you've actually got a decent opportunity there for Golden Guardians to try and play off of Yone being strong, Ksante having good opportunities as well. Like, you are up against a Renekton who tends to thrive in those scenarios, but like Orianna isn't going to be that strong at that stage, and I don't even think you're going to get much of an opportunity, to be honest, for Crownie to try and make his way up towards that top side as well. So in a 3v3 scenario, give that edge to Golden Guardians.
Certainly, and especially if they're able to get set up first. Right now, Licorice obviously struggling to keep Prio in the lane. The sustain of Renekton early on can be pretty frustrating to deal with, but if Taliyah's there first, if you get to lay down the Unraveled Earth, so many of Golden Guardians champions just are going to have a hard time approaching these fights. Bottom side of the map, and kind of everywhere, it's really quiet, folks. We had that one gank. People are going to fish for ganks now, but until Herald spawns, I think at 8 minutes, there's just not 2 points on the map really for both sides to play for. And I imagine they're just going to trade objectives, if I'm honest, at the pace what we're going.
Yeah, it's very possible for BDS to say, great, first blood in our pocket, sack these first couple objectives, keep that scaling going. Looks like that might be the plan for them. And I got to say, I'm not shocked. This is a very high-stakes game for both these teams. You talked about BDS being young, never making it to international play. Technically, this is international play, but not Worlds or anything like that. So for Golden Guardians, also never making Worlds, I think there's a lot of pressure on both these teams. And it's pretty easy to be the first team playing on this patch at Worlds, tons of people watching, and having a little bit slower of a game one.
Oh, on the top side, Adam's going to be able to grab a quick plate. Does use the TP. Mean lane. Nuke needs to be careful here, but here comes Sheo. The ulti out now. Gonna take Gori to safety. Forced to use the ultimate before a fight, though. Could cost him, but able to get out.
Very lucky. The pushback on the Maokai smash actually gave him the clearance on.
Shockwave! Nuke walking down. No mana. Clockwork wind up.
Sorry, what did he give him, Mark?
It!
Sorry, Mark. Can you tell me what happened with the
now gonna try to beat up River. Oh no! Kobe in shambles!
All of NA in shambles, man. Not a great look to the start of this game. Gori dropping down. Oh, no.
Okay. All right, sorry. I'm trying to be the neutral party, but it's leaking out. Mark.
Yeah.
It's getting bad fast.
Get wrecked. Let's go.
I'm in my comfort zone, actually. I swear.
Oh, yeah, because it's 3-0 already for BDS. That's very comfortable, right?
Oh, God.
BDS
this is the
Dragon setup. I mean, we'll see the replay. We can see maybe what went wrong at some point. On the top side, Adam already got one, now wants to continue to follow up. Using the dominance, wants to full commit here. Licorice can land the pullback. That's one dash through. He's going to have another one, the pullback there. Adam can, I believe, dice to follow the slice, taking his time here. Maybe it has expired. And Licorice going to be able to make it out, but forced to use the ultimate as well, so.
Still huge for BDS in this early game. We're talking about the scaling. We're talking about, oh, let's see if they can get to 20 minutes. Well, they can also just kill everyone and get the neutral objectives themselves. Here, Gori, I was talking about the arcane smash, moving him out of range so that the Yone ultimate could still go off, and then Sheo's W follows him in range. But I didn't think afterwards Gori would just walk back up and die with his flash up. So I didn't see the game the same way, I guess, in that situation. My bad.
Look, if I want to be empathetic here, I've used the strategy in solo queue many times where you die to bait your opponent into a false sense of security. For plays like this, just a shot. Never mind. All right.
Which side are you on, Drakos? All right, come on, man.
Well, when you play Yone in Yasuo, you either go 10-0 power spike or 0-10. And since he died first blood, he's committed now to the 0-10 playthrough.
Yeah. I will say, though, like, I do like that Sheo's starting to play through this one, like, in mid lane. But even, like, this is what you got to expect from Adam. Like, the fact he's roaming down to get these plays, like, you do have to watch out for it. But I think we're kind of seeing what we expected, right? Early Dragon going to BDS. They're going to trade that for Rift Herald on top side. They know they don't really have control, so just looking for plates for a Sivir on the bottom side instead.
And this definitely feels like a lot of the times the best version of BDS, where they can win some fights early, as we see a contest actually coming through for this Rift Herald.
Oh, a little bit difficult here. Licorice, no ultimate. River going to throw back with the Unraveled Earth. They just got the damage. The steal comes out. Down goes the jungler. Top laner next on the list. Flash out to safety, but in goes Adam, culling the meek here. Oh, baby, he's been to Denmark. He knows what licorice tastes like, and it tastes good.
Do you need a hug, Mark?
No.
Are you okay?
No.
Is it all right?
Lull them into a false sense of security. Lose one game to give them false hope. It's these old CLG meme classic image.
Yeah, and I mean, I think ultimately for BDS fans, they can rejoice a little bit because BDS are playing a lot of what made them so successful in spring. They're steady, they're scaling, they're still making plays in the early game, they're still focused on getting these objectives, and they're showing up individually, which across the board is the perfect checklist you want. And for Golden Guardians fans, I think it's probably frustrating because what you believed, if you believed in Golden Guardians, was we weren't going to get playoff GG, we were going to get the refined version. It was going to work out. Hold that thought here as Huhi's coming along to the bottom side. Amumu going in. There's just no way Crownie gets out. He's got the Cleanse River now coming through as well. The kill getting donated over to Stixxay. Did that feel good, Mark?
I had to get it out. I don't know how many more of those I'm getting, dude. I got to put like 10 kills of energy into that one.
That's that. I mean, look, it's a good setup. Crownie overextended, but I mean, Sheo absolutely on form in this one. Like, this is kind of the Sheo that we got in spring that made us so hyped for him coming in. Didn't get to see it as much towards the end of the year, but we got to see inklings of it at the end of season finals, and now again showing up massively here, getting that steal, setting up the kills. Sheo is on form coming into today.
Yeah, and it's a nice punish kill on the flip side of the map, finding Crownie slightly overextended, trying to get some turret plate damage down after winning on the top side. So it's a nice consolation prize, but at the end of the day, the fact that you get the Rift Herald taken away after Golden Guardians had committed time to that, you get the kills, everything is going so well for them on the top side, and it was one of the parts of the map that I think was the most contentious when you heard people talking about how you thought it would go. Is Adam a genius or is he crazy? You know, which of the two is that? Sheo, how great is he when he has to play around topside so much? And so far, everything's come up exactly how BDS wants, controlling Gori in the early game. They have the roams from Adam to find the cleanup kill in that mid lane. He's been all over the map as well. Everything seems to be looking really good for them.
Yeah. Right now, BDS sitting pretty. Have the luxury of scaling on their side as well, at least when we look to the simple perspective that is front-to-back team fights most certainly, but often the easiest one to reference. Golden Guardians, 6s are through. They made a play on the bottom side of the map. Huhi, when his ult is up and available, we can imagine to fish for another play here. Because again, even at small disadvantages, the potential for playmaking on this Golden Guardians lineup is massive. Should lead to at least a few more kills if they can find the angles.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the amount of vision that's been invested by BDS on this bottom side. They really want to make sure that they're able to play around this bot end and try and find success. Sheo was thinking of using that Rift Herald bot side, couldn't really find an in, so is now going to move it in mid lane instead and just try and snowball this Orianna even further.
Yeah, it's absolutely disgusting. Plates going down in every single lane at the same time for BDS. They have CS leads in every single lane as well. They've had the kill advantage, and they have a lot of map control now, getting tons of wars down the bot side of the map. They also have some on the top side to make sure they can track River and not fall prey to any of these kinds of ganks.
No.
Also the fact, Andrew's Anguish already completed. Like, this Orianna is so accelerated. It's kind of disgusting.
You guys should stop building items for a little bit and give us a chance to catch up. It's kind of unfair that you have mythics and we don't. I thought Riot was about competitive integrity. What is this?
Yeah. I mean, in Europe, the shops aren't even open yet, so you gotta play by, like, the time zone, right? Yeah.
Oh, okay. Huhi in a decent angle here, spotted out, but Sheo gonna get a nice knockback still. The Curse of the Sad Mummy coming in. We're gonna get the flick back, massive damage on the jungler, and another kill donated over to Stixxay. Licorice immediately gonna get the cancel. Big potential moment here coming in for the side of the Golden Guardians, but Stixxay gonna get taken down by Nuke. Gori off to the side, completely whiffs. Now forced to snap back here. Where's the follow-up? Adam now gonna win the 1v1. Licorice denies the TP, but it costs him his life. Huhi now trying to body block the flash forward from Nuke. Nuke on form today, playing like he did in the season final.
Oh, it looked so good until it didn't. I saw the cancel. I was like, oh boy, we have definitely overextended, but BDS taking those early advantages and really hammering them home there. And as well as you say, like, this is what we were kind of alluding to, was like, this kind of feels like a meta for Nuke, and he's popping off in this one.
Yeah, you can see nice interrupt by Sheo. Makes them have to commit a lot of resources to find this kill. That's almost everything to instantly destroy him. And then the pincer comes in from Crownie and Nuke at the same time. Nice re-engage by Labrov to find these targets and then force them to scatter before Gori can even get involved. And while it's a nice interrupt by Licorice, you do lose that 1v1, so cost him his own life to try and stop Adam from getting involved in the play. Still went BDS's way.
And this is where BDS are most dangerous. They're winning fights on that bottom side. They're just getting second dragon, as you can see in the picture-in-picture there. And now they're going to be like, okay, well, Golden Guardians, what are you going to do? You got to come and fight us now. You got to try and prevent us getting this third, fourth dragon. But you're not really in a position to when we've got this big Orianna. Crownie's now picking up what he needs as well. And when you come to team fights, like, that ultimate from the Maokai is so difficult to deal with when you're such short range.
And the thing is, too, the later and later when we get into this game, they're just going to be able to have such clean control of an objective. You've got the Maokai, you've got the Saplings, you've got the Maokai ultimate, and for a lot of these champions, they're great divers. They're great divers when they've got an angle, when they don't have to walk face first into a Maokai, when they're not behind in gold. So much of what Golden Guardians wanted to do with this composition is going to be shut down by the fact that BDS have any kind of advantages. They're going to be able to get objectives set up first, and certainly because they have such a large advantage at this stage of the game.
That's where I was going to go a little bit earlier with the early game for them is while they are not like this usually insane early game team, they have won a number of them where they get early objective control, get a couple kills in their back pocket, and because they already also draft scaling, it just jumpstarts you so much further to their team fighting where they are also very, very good. So this is one of those games where, you know, Rounder Dragon Fighter 2, maybe a full send a couple more team fights for Golden Guardians, but already it's kind of hard to not have your mind looking at game 2 when you're 6K down against a full scaling team, kind of.
Yeah.
You should probably send it the main team instead of the academy team. That might help, yeah.
Yeah, they're just giving them some extra rest. You know, they're getting used to the Korean time zone, I'm sure, or something.
Remind me, this is your, like, basically your second seed, right? That's what I heard from the dive.
That's some old school thinking. No, we NRG is actually definitely the best team, and TL is our third best, and yeah. Golden Guardians fell off for sure. They're ready to disown them after a single game one loss.
I'm nervous that I'm going to have to be you next game. It's going to be me and Dagda being like, yeah, you know.
This is, you know what's funny is every time I come over to Europe to do like an EU versus NA game, this was like last year at MSI, I did some of the G2 ones. We're like, yeah, we're going to like talk smack and have really fun. And then G2 just like destroyed us and railed us. I was like, yeah, I can't really fight back, guys.
To be fair, Mad Lions EG was the same. Can we get a close series?
That's true. I did get to cast that one, and that was also a rail. And now here we are, not looking very good.
Kind of, it's not. We need it to be close, or it just feels mean.
Let's go 5 games. Let's give the fans something to enjoy.
Yeah.
You know, if you're a European fan, you woke up at 5, 6 o'clock to watch this game. Don't 3-0 them. Let other people wake up and enjoy it.
To be fair, if you do 3-0 them, they'll be able to get to work on time. So, you know.
Or you can even watch the entire series before work. You know?
Hey, yeah.
Just up for a bowl of cereal.
on the lunch break, at 2x speed, get through the whole series. Yeah.
It is looking tough. And again, I think when we talk about scaling, it's important to be clear here. Renekton's not a bad laner. Orianna's not a bad laner. Sivir and Kaisa isn't a bad lane either. So I think the big window of opportunity we're hoping to see from Golden Guardians was around 6, was around these early objectives because of what their alts can bring to the table, their characters can bring to the table in these skirmishes, and they just didn't get a chance to do that. They were already behind by the time those opportunities came up.
Yeah, I think that's the big one. Like, coming into the next one, if Gori can try and just keep it a little bit safer, like get early vision down to stop Sheo having an influence in mid, I think this could be a very different game. So I think it kind of just snowballed out of control, but it still means he should have a decent opportunity to just bounce back in game 2.
Yeah, hopefully game 2 is a new look for them. But I will say for the BDS side, they didn't do anything crazy, which you sometimes seen them
We're trying to help you, Mark.
I know, but I'm looking at both sides here.
Wait a minute.
I'm an objective, unbiased analyst.
You're telling me right now that someone has level 3 ganked mid lane as Maokai with Flash W before? You're telling me that's not crazy?
I think Sheo is the first human being to ever consider that possibility.
To combine both the Flash button
never seen that
and
before
the W
in
button.
history.
That was an S tier guy. I'm just saying.
Sheo, what was that?
My
look
point
at the moves, look at the plays.
My point was they didn't do any of their level 1 stuff where they can get kind of crazy. I mean, Adam didn't pick one of his weirder champions. Like, this is...
It's pretty much vanilla ice cream, the game. And vanilla's great. It's the foundation for countless delicious flavors. Cookie dough, etc. But yeah, I know what you're saying. And I think that for Golden Guardians, the concern here for me, if I'm a Golden Guardians fan at this point, is this feels like a Golden Guardians kind of composition, and when this hasn't worked, what else do you have? Is this just a first shot, a Hail Mary, like let's try something weird, or is this what has been working in scrims?
Generally speaking, Golden Guardians are a very diverse team. They can play multiple play styles. They have different champions, and so I don't think that this is like a one shot, this is all we got. If this fails, then we're just going to run it back 2 more games, and this is all we can do. So this is a bread and butter kind of composition with a lot of heavy dive and focus on engage.
Sure.
But to be fair, like we said, in playoffs, they were struggling, and it was Gori who was getting beaten up a little bit in some of these series. So it is concerning to see in the first game that he is running into that problem. He is someone who has had some problems, you could say, potentially with choking in some high-pressure situations, both in the PCS a long time ago, in some finals, as well as now that there was pressure on them in summer, losing in some of these series.
I also think it's like, because you end up with that much mid-pressure coming through from BDS, it kind of shut down the person I was really excited for in Golden Guardians, which was Huhi. Like, Huhi's been so good at like roaming mid, making early plays, like getting out onto the map, but it feels like we just haven't really had a chance. I mean, he was first All-Pro team as well, right? Like, I was expecting to see a lot of movement out from him, but I think with Crownie and Labrov having a ton of push and bot, and then just how poorly mid has gone, it feels like kind of the early setup that Golden Guardians have been successful with hasn't been there.
Yeah, and I think that because the lanes fell behind so soon, they just had prio across the board. I mean, Adam got so many plates, 4 or 5, I think, at the end of the day. And at this stage, you can't really move on the map. It's going to cost you so much in terms of just raw gold value. And for BDS, they don't need to do anything fancy at this stage of the game. They've got pressure where they want it. They can set up for objectives first. If they play it slow and take their time and are diligent about vision control, it's very hard for Golden Guardians to find an angle.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but generally speaking, BDS was not the team to burger flip Barons from ahead and throw 10K gold leads.
No, I'm real sorry. No, it's not how it goes.
Do I got any...
So see the 3 dragons are at the top, that's their game. They're just going to go and fight your dragon, and then it's like, yeah, I'm sorry, man.
I think they'll throw. No. No.
That's okay, man. Look, sometimes in game
Look, you
one,
get 'em in game
bread
two.
and butter
Yeah.
compositions
You got
become
us.
mom spaghetti compositions very soon, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe just little nerfs. Just got to get it out.
I mean, clearly you just need to ban Renekton, Maokai, Orianna, Sivir, and Rakan in game 5.
Yeah, sure.
Game
And
2.
that's what your 5 bans are for, really.
Yes. The exact
That's
composition they played.
You're a
time.
former coach. That's how drafting works in League of Legends. You just ban what.
According to Reddit, absolutely. The thing that won was the problem, so you should have banned that instead of whatever opportunity cost is. I've never heard of that.
It always feels just on the cusp of personal with you, Mark, and I enjoy that immensely.
It's like, are you referencing something?
Specific? Adam pulled back, but he's a beefy boy, and in come the cats. And GG just going to get shredded through Stixxay on the backside. Instantly, Labrov goes in. The shockwave combo. BDS from start to finish taking control of this game, doing it in style now. As they break into the base of the Golden Guardians. This could just be the end. Are we going to get a Dancing Herald? Probably not. It's got 90 HP. But the fact that I had to ask that question says a lot about this game one.
I think they're going to go for
Wait
it,
a
though.
sec.
Dancing Herald.
I got to say, this is a statement.
No.
This is a statement. It's gone.
All right. And
It's still a statement game.
At least it's post 20 minutes, all right? At least it's
BDS
something.
striking first in the World Qualifier Series. Are you awake, Europe? It's the time to be alive, doubters. You can still doubt. It's only game one, but we're feeling it here. We woke up 4 a.m., but damn, we're awake now. I'll tell you that much. Except for Mark. Mark is sad, but
Nah, I'm chilling, dude. That was a great game. I had a lot of fun watching that one. BDS coming out game one, guns firing, feeling good. Woo-hoo! Yeehaw, partner! Yeah, they definitely they did some work in that game. I gotta say, Sheo looked incredible.
Yeah.
I think the mid lane match